Welcome to Pixel Perfect Wellness, where we explore the exciting intersection of gaming and wellness. I'm your host, EMUHLEET, a nurse with a passion for health and also a professional gamer. You might be wondering, how does gaming and wellness come together? Well, what we're here to discover. As someone who spends hours in front of a screen, I've experienced firsthand the impact of gaming that it can have on our physical and mental well-being. This episode is brought to you by ThunderPick. ThunderPick is an innovative crypto esports betting site and online casino designed to meet the expectations of the fast-growing community of gamers and esports enthusiasts. Visit thunderpick.io today to place your bet on one of your favorite teams. Let's get into it. Hi everybody, welcome back to Pixel Perfect Wellness. This is episode 3, and today we're going to be talking about balancing wellness with content creation. My name's EMUHLEET and I am your host, and I'm so excited to introduce my guest shortly. But let me tell you a little bit about the episode today. We're focusing really on content creation and how to prevent being burnt out, because we are always on the grind, and I think that's something that we should talk about, and just discussing the physical and mental toll that it could potentially take on you. Introducing my guest today is Katliente. Hi, Kat.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for having me.
Katliente is known for her amazing streaming advice that she has. She's helped thousands of people. She has over 500,000 followers on TikTok. She's a Twitch partner, a full-time content creator, an artist. I'll link her Etsy shop on the bottom. She does one-on-one coaching. I mean, the list goes on. What can't you do? I don't know.
Thank you. You're gassing me up too much.
No, seriously. So how did we meet? So I met you through Dignitas. I was a player in Dignitas, and you were doing content creation there, right? Like you were creating content for Dignitas.
I was their social content producer.
Right, and you, I don't know, you just had really out-of-the-box content that I loved, because you just brought such a different ideas that we hadn't seen. So that's how we met, and you were just so lovely to work with, and yeah, I really loved working with you. Could you give... Well, also, I have to let everybody know, I've messaged you a few times for help, because you are so transparent on so many things that people just don't want to, people were gaslighting people about. And I think that you just changed the level of the game of just helping so many people like myself about, you know, random questions about where do we start, or I don't know how much to ask for a partner or something like that. So thank you so much for answering me. I know you're so busy.
No, I want to help. Like, I want to see my friends succeed. You know what I mean? Like, I get so much joy and serotonin from seeing you do well and all my friends do well and everything. So, like, I want to help.
Yay. I'm glad. So, could you give a little bit of an introduction about yourself, a little bit of your background, and then how did you get into the esports gaming world?
So, I guess my background, I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area. So, my whole life I was like, I want to be a doctor, which you ended up going down the medical field, but I went straight nope. So like that was my whole life. I was like, I want to be a pathologist specifically. So I went to college at UC Berkeley with studying for a biology degree. And I remember being in my physics class sophomore year. And I was like, man, I freaking hate this. And man, I don't want to do physics. And man, even though I really like biology, I think I really want to keep it as just kind of like an interest and not a job. And I had a whole just like period of like a year and a half where I was just in a pit of despair, where I was like, I don't want to do bio, but I've sunk way too many units to now not do this major anymore. College is really expensive, so I need to like get out fast. And I was like, but what are my job prospects? Because if I don't want to do bio, because if you're a bio major, you get like what, 2 paths. Either you go down the medical route into med school, you become a nurse, like which is what you did, or you work at a lab. And I was like, yeah, neither sounds appealing actually. So I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I genuinely am so lost. And so backtracking a little bit, I had started streaming my freshman year of college because I dated somebody that was a streamer. He got me into streaming. We broke up. I still love streaming. So I was doing it, but I was like a small streamer. I was literally affiliate with like 3 viewers. So that was not an option. like content, like at that point in my physics class, sophomore year of college, still averaging 3 viewers. And there was no option for me to kind of just like explore that. So I was so lost, so confused. I didn't know what to do. It was just like a really, really, not a dark place, but a very confusing place in my life. And through that, COVID hits, and COVID was a big game changer for me. But I was one of those people who I technically start streaming before COVID, but I made a TikTok during COVID. And it was because I downloaded TikTok because I wanted to do cringe couple slideshow videos of my boyfriend and I didn't know how to edit, and I wanted it vertical. So I was using Musical.ly to go make those edits, and then Musical.ly disappeared and became TikTok. So I was like, crap, now I need a new app for my vertical cringe TikTok like video slideshows. So I downloaded TikTok just to do that. And I still have the privated videos
Oh my God.
of like the couple compilations I was doing. But then I started scrolling the For You page, and I was like, wow, I really like these videos. I was getting a lot of League of Legends content creators, people doing League skits, like POV, you're an ADC and da-da-da. And I was like, this is so fucking funny. I want to make these videos. So I was too scared to like show my face at first. So I first made like 2 art videos of like transitions, and you can kind of see my hands are shaking in the video. It took me both hands to hold my phone because my hand was shaking so much because I was terrified of posting. And then I filmed it, I posted it, and I got like 300 views on my first video. And I was like, 300 views. I was like, I've never gotten so much engagement on social media in my life. And I had tried YouTube like many times in the past to be a YouTuber. It never worked out. So I was like, I'll give up on that. But I was like, wait, this worked. So then I tried a skit video, and I got 1,000 views on my first League skit. And I was like,
wow.
because this was like way back in the day in like 2020 when skits weren't very oversaturated. So it was like a much more newer thing. And I took it and ran with it. And then I literally like already quit streaming at that point. But I decided, you know what? Frick it. A lot of these League content creators that I started becoming friends with are streamers. Let me just go and stream again. And on my first stream, I had 6 viewers. And I was like, I was having 3. Now there's 6 people here. Yeah. And it was people from my TikTok that I told them. I was like, come watch my stream. Like, I'm going to stream on Twitch. And they came over, and I was like, and then like a week later, I was at 12 viewers. Because again, I kept telling people from my stream to go over to or from my Twitch to go over to, or TikTok to go over to my stream. And I was like, wait, something is working. Like using my TikTok to drive people over to my Twitch is doing something. And I took it and ran with it. And I did that for 6 months. And then in December of 2020, I started making or November 2020, I started making stream advice videos. People were like, Kat, how did you go from like 6 viewers to like 30 in a couple months? And I was like, well, I want to share my knowledge with people. I've always loved like helping people and tutoring. I was like a tutor back in high school. So I was like, I'll try this. Let me do it. And like the first video kind of flopped. I got a lot of hate because everyone was like, you don't have enough followers to be telling people about this stuff. And I was like, oh my you gosh. Suck. Yeah. But then like I made like a POV video about being a streamer. And that one was my first viral video at 200,000 views. And I was like, it works. And then I started posting 3 videos a day. Like I was like, full pivot. Screw the League of Legends. We're doing streaming advice because this does really well. And I really like helping people anyways. And then I've never looked back since.
Wow. That's funny that you may, just hearing you talk about the excitement of, even though numbers might not be small, it is a really big step. That's the thing. It's a big step. Like even me as a player, I get so disappointed if I'm not first every time, if I'm not the best every time. And then people remind me, well, you got 3rd out of 30 or whatever, you know? So that mindset that you have is really, really important for people to remember.
Oh, thank you. I think it's a good mindset because you can't always get first, you know? You can't always be the best at X thing you do. But like it's all a learning experience at the end of the day, you know? Those like even those like 3rd places, you learn a lot from it. Like back in the day, like because I shot competitive archery back in the day, so it's kind of like the same thing where it's like you're always trying to like compete with yourself and try to like do better. And especially if you underperform, not even like a ranking perspective, you could rank high but underperform in your eyes, and it still doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and similar to content creation, right? You have a really viral good video, so you set the level high, and your next video, if it doesn't do as good, it's so disappointing sometimes, you know?
Yeah, because it's also like you feel like you're letting yourself down. You're like, oh man.
Yeah. And so it's good that you have that mindset that I just brought up because it's just, you have to take a step back and just remember not every video is going to do as good as that one really good one, but just to keep
Hmm.
consistent. Same with me as a player. I have to take my own advice sometimes.
We're our worst critics sometimes.
Yeah, but that's good. That's why we push ourselves. We keep challenging ourselves, and it's exciting. It's not stale. So,
Hmm.
could you walk us through a day in your life of what you do? Because I'm curious, how do you balance? I mean, it's a lot of work creating videos, editing, coming up with ideas. What's your day look like on your work schedule?
My work schedule is actually a lot better now. It was my work life balance was really bad last year, like really, really bad when I had a just whenever I had my full time job, I did. But nowadays I wake up at around 2 p.m. Um, and then I will basically lay in bed, scroll. Like, okay, when I wake up, I manually post all of my videos, except for YouTube
Hmm,
videos and some tweets.
interesting.
Everything else is essentially manually posted. I wake up, my first instinct, post a TikTok video. I'll open my drafts, I'll post a TikTok video, and then I go post an Instagram reel. And then I scroll TikTok, and then I will lay in bed for like an hour, but I essentially do work in bed, like immediately on waking up. I'll check my DMs, respond to any DMs that I have because they're typically all content creator friends. And then I'll check my servers that I'm in for some sponsorships. I'm in a Discord server for my talent agency. I'll check that one. And then I'm in a couple other ones that kind of just like not post opportunities, but kind of similar to that. Like one is like my friend who like sometimes helps find me deals, and then one
Mm-hmm.
is what do you call it? Like Adobe sometimes will post because I'm Adobe has their own like interesting sponsorship system where they have like a portal you join, but they have an
Oh,
associated Discord to where they post like events and stuff. So I'll go check that.
okay.
And then after I'll like respond to the messages about the sponsorship stuff, I'll open my email and see if there's any new emails for sponsorship deals, whatever, emails from people that I have to respond to. Sometimes if it's a long response, I'll flag it and I'll respond on my desktop, which is sometimes where I stop,
I've done
where I
that
missed the
too.
response. Yeah, because like I flagged it and then I didn't check again on my
Yeah.
desktop because I thought I already responded in bed. But I'll go and check all the emails, respond, ping my talent agency for opportunities I'm interested in. And that takes me about, and then I'll go on Twitter, respond to like tweets, respond to comments also under my videos. Because now at this point, the videos have gained some traction. So I'll go and respond to comments. You always want to respond to comments, especially early commenters, because it's like Pavlov dog. Okay, this is like the most fucked up way to say it, but like it's like essentially Pavlov dog training people to try to comment on your videos. Because if they comment early and you respond, they want to comment again because they
Hmm.
might get a response from
I
you.
see.
And I think like creators in general, especially small creators, cannot. You don't have the luxury of not responding. Like you don't have the luxury to like ego your commenters essentially. Like why are you doing this? Like don't you want people to comment? Like engage with them so you get more comments. But I'll do that. That takes all of that takes me about an hour. And then I'll get up and then
Oh.
I'll do my morning routine. So I'll shower. And then whether I do my makeup or not depends on whether it's a stream day or not. So I'm going to assume it's a stream day for the sake of like explanation purposes. So I'll do my makeup and then I'll come back to my desk and then I will complete the rest of the like stuff that I have to do, like emails I didn't respond to. And then I'll typically have to film sponsorship videos. So I'll film the sponsored videos. Um, Ideally, when the sun is up, I film the product videos and then I film the software videos when the sun is down. Because the product videos need the sunlight so that it looks better. And
Okay.
then at this point, I probably DoorDash one boba. I only eat like one meal a day. So I'll just DoorDash my
Wait,
boba and
what?
then my food.
Wait, pause. Only one meal a day?
Yeah, yeah. Because I
No.
DoorDash once and then I just like snack on it probably for the rest of the day. But it's like one
Oh, I
actual
see.
meal. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so that's about it. I'll get my food, and then we film for the up until stream. So at this point, it's probably like 4 by the time I shower, did my makeup, whatever, and then I film until stream, and I stream at 7 p.m. PST. So 3 hours of filming, and then I stream from 7 to 11. So 7 to 11 p.m. I'm streaming, and then after the streaming, I film TikToks. So I'll probably film like my selfie style TikTok videos. Now I brought in an editor to help me edit my videos. So I film a
Mm.
lot less TikToks now than I did back in the past. So I film for only about an hour. So I film till like midnight. And then depending on how I'm feeling, I either will edit some videos. So I'll edit from like 12 to 1, probably 12 to 1-ish, etc. And then do some like YouTube thumbnailing. This is like at this point, I take off my makeup. It's like PC work now. So everything that doesn't require filming for me to have my makeup on. And then it's like leisure time from like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. because I
Mm.
sleep at around 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning. So I'll either like read or I'll play games or whatever, and then I'll go to sleep.
Okay,
Mhm.
so your hours are different. How many days off would do you usually take?
Now I have 2 to 3 days off.
Okay.
So my boyfriend, he like, I mean, because it's like Lawrence, he plays
Yeah.
pro league, so he
Yeah.
only gets one day off, less than 24 hours. And I go to all of his matches. So he plays Saturday, Sunday, which is why I'm free till 1 because his match is at 2. So at 1 I'm gonna drive to
Yeah,
Riot to
okay.
go watch his match. Yeah, but so it's on like weekends it's a little bit different because I work around that. But um I have Sunday. I give myself Sunday off
Mhm.
because, with the exception of, I guess, today, because I'm in the middle of a subathon. Normally, I wouldn't. I would just wake up for his game, and then we would get boba. We would come home, and then he gets into Monday off, so I have to drop him off at his place at like 5. And then I come back and I stream. So my work day technically starts on Monday at like 7 p.m. and and then I'll work until about like 4 a.m. because I had the rest
Okay.
of Monday off.
Mhm.
Tuesday is my errand day because I bought a Tesla, so I have to charge the car. And
I
then,
have a Tezzy. Oh my god, we're Tezzy
yeah,
besties. Yay! Okay.
dude, I love my little Tezzy, but I
Yeah.
don't have a home charger because like I rent,
Oh,
so that's why.
okay.
So I have to go because like I'm driving on the weekends to go see his games. My car's basically dead by the
Takes to
time it's like
charge,
Tuesday.
sit.
So I have to charge the car, then I get boba, I go like run some errands, whatever, and then I have like a meeting with my like I have like like small little like girly content creator group that we do a call every Tuesday. So then we'll do that. But that's about
Oh,
it. So Tuesday's like my
oh.
off day. And then Sunday's my off. Sunday into Monday is like my pseudo off day.
I love that. Okay, good. Because I mean, before you it seems like you have a set schedule and very
Yeah.
organized. Before this, did you find that you were working too much, never taking any days off?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I was working at Dig, I looked at my this was so interesting. So my entire life, I've always been a really big workaholic, and I think I blame my mom, a good and a bad thing. She's an extreme workaholic,
Mm-hmm.
like to a fault. But it's this. I have the exact same things. Maybe it's genetic, or maybe it's because I grew up seeing how hard my mom worked, and I just ended up
Yeah.
emulating it. Because my mom also would work from sunrise to sundown. Like it'll be like 1 a.m. in the morning. She's still on her computer working, even though she has to be up at 9 a.m. for work again the next day. So I've watched her just like put in insane hours into work, and I emulate the same thing. And now it's between us two, it's like the Spider-Man meme where my mom's like, work less, and I'm like, yeah, you hypocrite. Like you too, bro. Right.
Yeah.
So, but even when I was in school, whatever, it was like insane grind out, especially because I went to Berkeley and I graduated in 3 years from UC Berkeley. So I took a lot more units than I normally should have. And it was just a lot of work. So I was just so used to working a lot that when I came into entering the workforce for the first time, I was like, well, this is normal for me to work more. Right. So like when I was at
Mm-hmm.
Dig, my schedule basically looked like I would wake up at 9 a.m. for work because sometimes I could like either work remote or I would take the call going into work, like in the car,
Mm-hmm.
because I would be running late because I'm always late. And I would work from like 9 to 4, 9 to 5. Sometimes we could leave early. And then I would go home and then I would eat and do my makeup for stream because typically I was like too tired to do my makeup for work. So I did like a really shit job of it or barely no makeup at all. And then I would do my makeup and eat in the gap between 5 to 6 because I had like a pretty easy commute between work.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 6 to 7, I would film TikToks. I would stream from 7 to 11 p.m. And then from 11 to about 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning, I would either film YouTube videos or edit my videos. Mostly it was editing. And then like other miscellaneous work, reaching out to sponsors, and then rinse and repeat. And weekends was working from like whenever I woke up, which I woke up later on the weekends at like 2, and I would work until like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. the next morning and go to sleep.
Right. And
So no days off.
uh-huh. And I mean that takes a toll on you, right? Did you
Yeah.
feel burnt out, fatigue? Like, did you want to take a freaking month off? Like, how did you feel doing that schedule? Because that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm about done.
I felt really, really bad. Okay, I was literally telling my stream this earlier because I was telling them about you because I was like, dude, I see schedule and I'm like, she's a nurse and then she finishes nursing, she comes home and like eats and then does scrims and then VOD reviews and then films content and I'm like,
Yeah.
the window for sleep is not very big, and there is no window for free time. And I was like, I'm pretty sure she doesn't have weekends off either. which I'm also very concerned for your health because I was doing the same schedule and it runs you dry so fast. Like so fast. Like the way I quit Dig is actually super funny. This is like some tea. So I was like getting so stressed working at Dig. And it wasn't even like Dig. It was like my schedule was so bad that it was taking such a huge toll on my mental health to where like I would be having these like anxiety attacks, but it wasn't like attacks. Like it was like just like overwhelming amounts of anxiety. And like I was getting periodic nausea. So like when I get really anxious, sometimes at night I'll have like bad nausea problems where like I'll have to sit by the toilet. Sometimes I puke, sometimes I don't. And I just like stuck there for like 40 minutes. And it made my insomnia really bad. So I could not sleep. So I couldn't even sleep until like 4 or 5 a.m. even if I wanted to. Now, because like I'm a lot less stressed, my insomnia is much more manageable.
Right.
But it's a lot better now. But everything was so bad. My mental health was so bad. I was so stressed. And like I had so much acne because I was so stressed and like breaking out all of the time. And it was like something has to give. But I didn't want to leave Dig because I really wanted to work in esports really badly. And I was scared that if I left, my window to get back into esports was gone. Because esports is an industry, you know, like, I mean, you're intimately familiar with it too, where it's like, once you're in, it's easy to kind of like shoo your way into other orgs. But once you leave, it's really hard to get back. So I was like, am I making a really bad decision by leaving? But the way I decided to leave was I really wanted to do a trip to Asia. And my friends wanted to do a trip to Asia. And they only were free in August to do it. Like at the middle of August to into the beginning of September. That was the only window they were free. And they were planning a trip. And I was like, fuck, I want to go. But I was like, wait, but I'm at Dig. And like, I need to give like way heads up if I'm going to be gone for a month. Because it was a 1 month trip. Well, they went for 2 weeks. But I went to China to visit my grandparents. And I just booked the flight. And I booked a trip. And I was like, well, now I got to quit my job.
You did something drastic that kind of forced,
Yeah, so that's literally what I did because I could not make a decision of like whether I want to leave esports for the longest time. But the decision I could make was the fact that I did want to go to Japan. So that was a deciding factor, actually. Yeah, so I booked the trip, but then I was like, well, I got to quit my job to go on this trip. So I quit and I put in my 2 weeks. And then afterwards, the trip was supposed to be like relaxing. But to be honest, when you're traveling, it's actually really tiring. So I was doing a lot of walking, so I didn't feel I felt emotionally relaxed, but then I became physically tired. And I was like, well, now what's somewhere else, you know? And then afterwards, I was still like, you know, kind of like on the content grind, especially because like making that first transition between a job and full-time content, I was like, I need to make money. I need to get something like the ball rolling on this. So I got the ball rolling. And then I went home to visit my family for Thanksgiving. And then I couldn't do any work because I was out visiting my family. So I did all my work beforehand. And I was like, wow, this feels great. Right. And then I came back and then December happened. I did like my streamer event wrapped up in December. And then I went home to visit my family in December for 2 weeks. And I was like, man, I could be doing this, like, you know, doing absolutely crap nothing, waking up at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., going on a walk to get boba, coming home and then eating dinner with my family. And then, I don't know, playing farming sims. I played so much Sunhaven in those 2 weeks. It's insane. And a bunch of Baldur's Gate. And then I was like, wow, this is a good life. And then this is very interesting. I caught myself thinking, oh, this is actually in the past. I was like, man, you know, honestly, it'd be great to be a stay-at-home wife. And I was like, wait a sec. Never in my life have I thought this. I was never the type of person that like dreamt. Some people, you know, dream about being a stay-at-home wife. That I never dreamt that. I never dreamt that about myself. I always saw myself as a working mom. And I was like, what is happening to me? And then I like because I have a lot of introspective, you know, self-reflection because, you know, I was diagnosed with anxiety. I think a lot. I feel like with ADHD, my brain's never shutting up. So I was thinking, I was like, this is really interesting. I was like, I think this is my body telling me that I'm working way too much because like I'm suddenly getting these thoughts of doing nothing, like no work whatsoever. And I'm not the type of person. I'm always the type of person to stay busy. And now I'm having these thoughts about wanting to do nothing for like months straight. I kept telling my boyfriend, I was like, I would be so happy if I could do nothing for like 6 months. And he was like, I know you're going to be bored within 2 weeks and want to do something. And I was like, good point. But I was like, this is where I'm at right now with like how I feel.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I need to come 2024. I need a way better work-life balance. I need days off and I need to do things that I enjoy because I was doing work. And the thing is, it sucks when like content is what you enjoy and it's also your work. Because
Mhm.
then you can kind of cope and be like, I'm doing what I like, but there's still no work-life balance at the end of the
Right.
day.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of January, oh, my cat loves standing and sitting on my floodlight.
Oh.
But I kept telling myself, I was like, okay, you're gonna do what you enjoy. So in the beginning of January, I barely did any work. I was reading books for like 6 to 8 hours a day,
Oh,
just
wow.
reading. I was like, I'm not gonna be putting in this much effort anymore. And I told myself, okay, you're gonna go and offload the labor you absolutely don't like doing to somebody else. So I hired my short form editor, Impact. I pay him $1,000 a month for 30 hours of editing work slash other labor that I use him for. Just it's what anything in those as long as it encompasses 30 hours. Absolute game changer. I
For you
do
to save you
so
time.
much less work now. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was hard for me to come to that decision because it was kind of like you need to spend money to make money. But growing up
Yeah.
like stingy, in a lower middle class family, when I was growing up, now my parents are doing much better for themselves, but back in the day we didn't have that much money. It
Mhm.
was hard because it's like you grew up trying to like penny pinch and like,
Yeah.
not spend money on like frivolous things, and spending money on somebody's labor when I could do the labor myself was a hard concept to
Yes.
grasp. But it's kind of a realization that at the end of the day, like no amount of money could pay for better mental health. But I could hire an editor to do the work that I don't want to do, and that basically gives me better mental health. So, like how much is my health worth at the end of the day? And that was a great decision. And it took a lot of work off my shoulders, and my balance is a lot better because of it too.
You know what? This is a sign. I'm glad we had this conversation. That's just what I
Mhm.
needed to hear because that's exactly what I think that I can do it.
You
I
need to
can
do that
do it.
too.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting that you said about
Mhm.
you just booked your trip. You just did it. You
Yeah.
booked your trip spontaneously. So the Vikings actually they did stuff like that where you did it to kind of force yourself into what you wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. The Vikings did that too when they went to their new area. They burned their ship. So there's nothing distracting them. They could not go back. That was it.
Mhm.
So that's something kind of similar to what you did drastically to force yourself into what you wanted to do. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I feel like you need to do something like that too, because your schedule is like the schedule that I had, but even more intense because you're a nurse. I was like a fucking social media manager. So like, what was I doing? If I was like a little like dozing off or whatever, like I just post a shitty TikTok, right? But like
Yeah.
your schedule and the job, your IRL job is so intense that I'm like, I'm like, how do you manage to do it?
I'm really feeling it. Like I had
Mhm.
to be very transparent, a panic attack the other day, and I say
Oh,
to my husband, I'm like, like I have asthma
uh-huh,
induced. I'm like, I can't breathe. I need my inhaler. I'm like running around. Where's my inhaler? And
uh-huh.
so that at that point, I was like, okay, I need to change something. So
Mhm.
because that was literally last week, I need to take time to sit down and think, what do I do to change? Because
Mhm.
this isn't working. But why am I working so much? It's because, well, my team doesn't have an org at the moment. Esports isn't an esports winter. There's no,
Yeah.
so I refuse to give up. I refuse. I know that I'm still good. I have a good team. So, I'm working as a nurse to pay the bills, and then I'm doing what I love. I mean, I love nursing, but I love being a
Mhm.
professional gamer too. So that's why I'm doing it all, but it's lessening my quality of, I guess, just the quality of everything. I'm
Mhm.
half-assing everything. I'm not cooking as much. I'm not going to the gym. I'm tired all the time. So yeah, listening to you talk, that's exactly what I need to do. I need to do something drastic. I need to, or even find help. Maybe finding help for editing would save me hours. I mean,
Oh
hours.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
okay.
your balance is like crazy. So, I mean, in your life, something has to give. And I really don't want your health to be the one that gives, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I had a wake up call. So, um, gosh, that was a really good advice that you gave. That stood out to me. What do you think? So, have you seen on, or has people come to you before saying that they're burnt out, or maybe like a creative block because they're so worried about? I mean, hello.
Sorry, I just saw my cat do that. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to
I've been
interrupt you.
watching them. You're fine. I guess you said that you wake up and you start working. Does that
Mhm.
affect your sleep? Does it give you pressure to wake up and, oh my gosh, I have to work?
No, because now I'm a lot more flexible with myself and my schedule. Back in my shit work schedule times, it was a lot of pressure. Oh wait, also I should have asked, can I cuss? I've been doing it this whole time, but
Yes, you can. It's
okay.
not PG-13. You're
Okay,
fine.
okay. I didn't want for like monetization issues, like my language to cause a problem. Okay, but like back in the day, I would like dream about work, and it was bad. But I think now it's kind of like taking the days with grace, essentially, and giving myself, okay, grace is not the correct word I want to use for this, but like giving myself flexibility, where I'm in my soft girl era, where if I wake up and I decide, man, I'm not feeling it today, I'm just not gonna do it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And if I wake up, but I wake up and I like checking my posts and checking my emails because it's like a serotonin. It's like a Christmas present every day. It's like, ooh, do I have a cool sponsorship opportunity in here? Because now that I have my talent agency, I just throw it over to them, so I don't actually really do the negotiating
Nice.
work anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so I check my inbox. I'm like, ooh, this is fun. All right, I'll offload the labor to somebody because I don't want to do it. And then I go into my TikTok. I do the post. It's like it's autopilot for me to post. It's literally autopilot. I don't even think twice about it. I don't even know how. I was thinking the other day when I was like in the shower, I was like, how would I live now? Like, eventually TikTok is not going to be here. Like, I'm going to be doing something else. How would I live not automatically posting 3 videos a day on autopilot? Like, I don't even think about it. Just boop, 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 boop. It's going to be so, so, so weird. But like, I give myself the luxury essentially of being flexible with my time and doing what I want to do instead of forcing myself to do things anymore. And I felt a lot less stressed when I do that too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I will say there's a lot of privilege in why I can do this because, like, due to the fact that I've built my content up to this point to where I've gotten sponsors and, like, basically kind of passive, like, monthly passive income set, I have the luxury to where I know, hey, I have enough savings and the passive income to pay my bills. And I also have the privilege in where my family loves me and they're more than willing with open doors to take me back if this fails.
Yeah.
So I can take risks with less stress knowing that.
Right. Not everybody has that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any piece of advice for anybody listening? Because I feel like a lot of people, even myself, honestly, feel just like they have to always work. They have to. How do we get that mindset out of just like we talked about in the beginning, just one step at a time, maybe small celebrations? Do you have any advice for people like that might be thinking that?
I have some advice because I am the same way. Whereas my entire brain is trained on like how to work. For I guess lack of a better explanation, my entire brain is like wired to monetize. Even when I was a kid, I was like a fucking hustler kid. Like, those little like soda candy things that come in like
You're
a
one of
little soda
those.
can. I sold those. Yeah, I was one of those
Okay.
kids. And then in high school, I sold jewelry, and then I sold art logos. I would sell logos to Instagram artists, like Instagram stores when I was in
Dang.
high schooler.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was in college, I opened like a boba business where I sold stickers and keychains. And then I also sold art commissions. So I did emo commissions when I was an artist. And I also did like social media work for a YouTuber when I was in college for pay. I would literally do it when I was in lecture,
Oh.
etc. I was always a hustler. My entire life, I've always been scheming of the next way I could make money. Because when you grow up in a situation where you didn't have money, I had things that I wanted and no money to get the things I wanted. So I wanted to fix the situation. The only way to fix it is to get the money. So I couldn't get it from my parents because they didn't have money to give me. So I had to get it from my own ways. Problem solver. So it's hard to unlearn, I guess, that mentality after I swear to God, I was like literally born with it. I don't even know where it came from. I was doing that shit even when I was a kid. Like,
you came out of the wound like
no, I actually came out of the womb like hustler and try to like sell people on stuff. But like,
that's good. I mean,
just from growing up from having things you wanted and no money to get it, like you need other means to get it, which is money.
Yeah.
But it's you have to train yourself to not do that. So I have a lot of like these talks with my boyfriend too, and like that's one of the, besides all the things I love him, he's like my biggest advocate and my biggest devil's advocate at the same time. He's always like countering something that I say with like a very, very logical and well-reasoned and very peacefully delivered statement that makes me think again. And I'm like, oh, you right, actually. Where I was like, he was like, or I was complaining that I'm like so tired. I'm like, and then he was like, yeah, because you are always working. And I was like, no, I don't always work. Like, look, I'm drawing. He was like, why are you drawing? Oh, I'm making like listings to sell at Etsy. And he was like, yeah, so you are putting it on Etsy to make money. And I was like, shit, you're actually right. And he was like, he basically told me to think about it because all of my hobbies are some form of making money. Even like my art, I sell my art, which is my hobby. I love doing art. So like after that, I had some big introspection where I was like, okay, I need to actively find something, a hobby to do that is not content, that does not serve to make me money and like as work. And for me right now, it's reading. And of course it can always change, you know? But like I'm actively telling myself, okay, Kat, you keep in the back of your mind, there's a little voice chirping at you. Hey, you know, you really want to finish that book that you started. Like you read Divine Rivals. What about Ruthless Vows, the second book? You didn't read that one yet. It's like chirping in the back of your mind to actively like after I've caught myself working for when I determine a reasonable time, about 8 hours. And even less than 8 hours, even if I work for 4 hours, fuck it. If I decide I want to read, okay, I'm going to go and give into my urges and go read. Because I'm a really disciplined person. So I am disciplined to where I can work for like 16 hours straight if I need to. But it's not good for my health also. And recognizing that every time I feel a calling to go back to work, it's like listening to the inner voice that's telling you to, hey, go do this other thing. And giving into those urges. I feel like for me and you and everyone else who's probably done this, we've like trained ourselves to not listen to that voice to tell you to indulge in these little things that you want to do. But it's not a sin to like take the day to yourself after you worked.
Exactly.
Even 8 hours of work every day is a lot of work. Like you can work for 4 hours some days. Fuck it.
Yeah. Who says what amount you need to do? It's us.
Exactly.
I guess it's maybe I grew up in the same environment. You're just constantly you gotta work, and it's just nobody ever taught about the resting part ever.
Yeah.
So that's why I really wanted to start this podcast too, is just to kind of discuss, like, we have to remember our well-being is number one. You cannot be 100% all of the time, and you just got to take time to breathe because things are going and going, and they don't care about your health. You have to be the person to care about it. So
exactly.
Yeah. We're getting towards the end, and I ask everybody this on my show. What does wellness in gaming mean to you?
Oh, this is a good question. I think for me, honestly, it's just a good balance. Like balance is the most important thing overall. And it's to make sure that you can do what you enjoy for a really, really long time. So, I mean, like wellness, both mental and physical. At the end of the day, doing something like gaming, which is something that you enjoy, that brings you, you know, like supposedly happiness, etc. It shouldn't be like bringing more negative into your life than good. If something is bringing more negative into your life, then why are you doing it?
Yes.
Right? Like, even I would argue working a job you don't like, well, you're getting money, which is like, I guess, some positive to get from it. Like, sometimes I feel like a lot of people, they end up with like a really, really toxic mindset in games, a toxic outlook on it, where they just queue up to like, just to run it down and then scream at people in game. And it's like, what positive is this going to bring into your life? You need to really like reflect on what it's bringing for you and look and take a step back and realize, okay, maybe I'm just addicted to this game. And I'm not playing it because I enjoy playing it. I'm playing it because I'm addicted to like the high of playing it, essentially. And like maybe I am content creating and doing all of this work, not because I need to, etc., but because I'm also addicted to doing work. Yeah. And every single waking day, you're thinking about work. And you should not be thinking that much about work. And you should not be consuming your mind every single day. There's a fine line between like, I feel like passion and addiction, and it gets often really muddied a lot of times in the gaming space, in the content space, etc. But again, like no amount of money can buy good mental health. So
you're right.
You need to make active life changes to pursue it. And I like started well, this is gonna sound so scuffed because I'm not old. I'm very young. But I was like, after I turned 23, I had like another quarter life crisis where I was like, I'm like living life like pedal to the metal, running life so fast, and I'm like, at what? Like, what do I want? Like, because my parents were always like, yeah, buy a house. Like, that's your goal. Like, you need to buy a house. Graduate college, buy a house. And I was like, what am I going to do? Buy a house at like 23 years old? Now what? Like, what's my next goal at this point? Then I have nothing. I've achieved like what I was aiming to achieve, I guess. That was like kind of what I felt by getting to a partner too. But it was like, I have the luxury to slow down. I don't need to rush. Who am I competing with? Like other people, like what they're doing doesn't affect me. Like them living their life doesn't change me making my content and playing my games, whatever. And it's like, it's okay to take life slow and just focus on the day to day and live in the present instead of just focusing so much on the future and like the fuck ups you made in the past. That was a little bit off topic, but
that's a quote. I love it. Yes. So true. Thank you so much for taking time out of your extremely busy day to chat with me. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I've been actively, like, I told myself this year, like, Kat, you're gonna make time for things that you enjoy and people. Literally last year, I had a quota to where I saw one person that wasn't an obligation a month. So not talking coworkers, not talking my boyfriend. One friend a month. Genuinely.
What? Oh my
I didn't have time. Well, it also, another thing, I started reading and there was like one thing that was really important in one of the books that I read romance books. So there's typically no lessons to take away from it. But this one book had a lesson that I really liked. And the guy in the book, the male lead, was basically like, he was basically saying that a choice is the most powerful thing that a person or any entity could have.
Yes.
And to lose it is to like lose everything. And that you always have a choice. And I was thinking to myself that I have to always grind and I have to always do this work and I have to. And I was like, and then after reading that, I was also kind of like, wait, there's a choice in everything. Like I made a choice. I kept saying that I didn't have time to see friends. No, it was because I chose to not see friends. Yes. It's because I chose to do my work. I chose to like work over seeing people. Whereas it wasn't forced upon me. I could have easily just stopped making videos and just gone out to see people. And that's a choice that I'm making for this year. A choice that I'm making to actually see human beings and see people and hang out with people and do less work.
I feel like I'm at church right now. I just want to go, hallelujah. I just praise the Lord. Preach it, sis. Yes. It's funny you said that because Mel and Heather, we were talking about creating a Calendly because we are so busy. We have to create a Calendly to hang out.
All of you guys should hold each other accountable because all of you guys work too much.
Yeah. Yes. You know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna make a choice and just take the day off.
Exactly. At least give yourself one day. Okay, this is so bad that I'm even telling you to take one day off a week. What it should at least be two. But like, if you can, at least give yourself one day, like one full day. I would say, because the thing is, you're not resting if you're still thinking about work, and you're not resting if you're still doing work later in the day. It's not like a rest day. And I was doing that and coping in the past, like last year, being like, oh, I'm resting. You know, I didn't do anything in the beginning of the day, but I'm still thinking about the work I'm going to do later. And you're not actually resting. And I didn't realize, and I think not me giving unsolicited advice here, but I think like if you do have the luxury to do it, you could really benefit from this. But like the 2 weeks that I did nothing on winter break really changed my outlook on everything. Because truly doing nothing, when I was forced to do nothing, because I didn't even have my PC to edit on, I had a Mac, which I could edit on, but I had no footage because I didn't send it to myself. Like truly being forced to do nothing for 2 weeks really showed me that the resting that I was doing during the year wasn't actually resting. And that I didn't feel true peace for a really long time until I got those 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on with me. I mean, when I was on Dignitas, when I had the support and backing, I didn't have to work as much as I am. I felt much better. I felt rested, and because of the lack of just support, I just feel like I have to do it all, especially as a team leader. It's all on me. I have 5 other people that rely on me to help us, you know, go where we want to go. So one day off. I'll take at least one day off. Yes. Next weekend though, it's gonna have to wait.
No, girl, no. Oh my god,
I've got practice tomorrow.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay, soon. But also, I would also recommend a little bit more, but like try to offload labor if you can. I was so reluctant to do it for so long, but like offloading labor was like such a game changer for me. And I feel like a lot of times we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves too. Whereas,
I'm
like,
a
I'm sure,
control freak. I have to,
yeah,
you know?
because you could probably offload some of the work that you're putting on yourself to like your teammates regarding your team, and I'm sure like other people would be willing to step up too.
They
But I
would,
also am a control
yeah.
freak, so it was so hard for me to let go of my
see?
TikTok editing for somebody.
Yeah. Wait, what's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh my god! Cancers are my lovers. Okay.
Ah,
I'm a Capricorn.
if it helps, I'm a Taurus moon and rising. I don't know too much about it, but I think I read it said that I'm supposed to be like I think the moons is like your emotional regulation. So like the moon is the emotional and the rising is like something else, etc. But it was like apparently I'm supposed to be very hard-headed and stubborn and a workaholic, and I was like, wow, cool. Spot on, actually.
Well, thank you so much for taking time. We'll have to get boba together sometime. I get
Yes.
boba every single freaking day. I'm addicted. So yes,
Don't
we'll
literally
have to
say
do
it.
Take my money. Thank you so
Yay.
much. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.